Our people are scattered, like stars in the galaxy.
Welcome back to WD Magiccast for the week of March 5th, 2023. This is episode 217. WD Magiccast, the show about the mouse, the Marvels, the galaxy, and beyond. I'm your host, Matthew Gracon. In this week's show, Dave Gallman and I sit down and talk about Mandalorian, Season 3 premiere, Chapter 17. So, let's reminisce as we go and enjoy the next episode as well. And the survey this week was on the season premiere of The Mandalorian. We wanted to know, and this was on Twitter. I'm sorry I did not get to it on the Facebook group, but next survey will be on the Facebook group. I promise. So the survey was on Twitter at WD Magiccast. What was your take on the Season 3 premiere of The Mandalorian? The options being perfection, really good, just okay, could have been better. And it was a fairly interesting result. So 20% of you said perfection. We got 20% perfection. 40% goes to both really good and just okay. No one thought it could have been better, so that's good. But 40% say it was just okay, and 40% say it was really good. So, yeah, we got kind of the mixed bag there. Everyone was kind of right in that middle section. Some thought it was really good, but no one thought any less of it. So that's a good thing. That's a win in my book. And on that note, we'll be back after these words from our friends and sponsors. And now, on with the show. The galaxy is vast, far-reaching. Some say it may contain many, many, many stories. Others may say there's a man walking around in an armor that has only shown his face once, and he's kidnapped a little child. Any way that we know it as the Mandalorian. And Season 3 has finally graced us. And to discuss it, I have a man who has a wanted poster of a 50-year-old child hanging on his wall. David Gallman's back to grace us with his knowledge and wisdom.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know how much knowledge and wisdom I have there, Matthew, but thank you for having me yet again.
With how many times I've tripped over this over the introduction, this should be interesting.
No, we're good, man.
So yeah, do you believe just testing you? Don't look it up. When's the last time we saw an official Mandalorian episode?
I want to say it was 2020-ish.
Mm-hmm.
That's
December 18th, 2020.
Yeah.
Was the last time we officially watched a Mandalorian episode.
Yeah.
All right. So unfortunately, last year we had the Book of Boba Fett, and we had those couple of episodes where he meshed in and there.
Right, and I think that's why. I mean, I don't know I don't think there was a plan to rush a Mando 3 because they had the Book of Boba Fett there. So you had your little two or three episode fix for the Mandalorian.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and it ties in and plays in, and supposedly I hear rumors that they have John Favreau and Dave Filoni have season 4 kind of written out already, panned out. Something may or may not have scripts for it, so that's we may not have to wait as long for that. Knock on wood.
Mm-hmm. Well, then that would probably lead to believe that there's not going to be a Book of Boba Fett season 2. Then I'm assuming.
Well, then there's other rumors that there may be a season 2 of Book of Boba Fett because of how things are playing out, but we don't know.
Yeah.
And Filoni, we trust.
Yeah. And Favreau so far.
Yeah.
This episode was awesome, dude. I'm sorry.
But tell us how you really feel.
It was.
So let's do it like we did with Ant-Man. We'll give it a little general synopsis. We'll give our rank, our rating for this episode, and we'll go into more deeper dive and expectations after that.
Yes, sir.
So good. What did you think of this in general? How would you sum up this episode?
Okay, so for those that, if you got through Andor and are struggling your way through Bad Batch at this time, this was a welcome addition to set the ship right. Now, I did like Andor, but a lot of the complaints that I heard was that it wasn't Star Wars enough for them. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But this...
That could be argued, but we'll take, some people are saying that.
As soon as it popped up, and you see Mando, you're like, there we go. We're back. This is the Star Wars I want to watch. I don't know. There's just something about this show that brings that. It's in the Skywalker realm. It's got everything you want to scratch the itch of just being in that universe, man. I don't know. I love it.
I think I could sum it up in one word of expectations.
Mm-hmm. True.
It meets almost all the expectations. What you it hits you with in a pace, with the material that you want, in a way that you want, and just it meets the expectations of what you want from a season opener for The Mandalorian. My biggest problem of it was I didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
And it is one of the shorter season openers. So it kind of ends and it's like, wait, that was it? I thought there would be a couple more minutes or something a little longer. There isn't, but it sets up a lot. It gives you a lot of fun. Like everyone, there's no rust on the characters. There's no. Oh wait, it doesn't, something doesn't seem right, or it is familiar. It is the getting together with old friends again.
Yep.
And not a day has gone by to separate you from them. So it is, it meets the expectations. And going into a third season, your expectations are naturally going to be high. Mm-hmm. And I thought it did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and I think, to your point with the shorter runtime, like that was always my complaint with The Mandalorian, is that the episodes leave you wanting more, and because before you know it, boom, 35 minutes is gone, and the credits are rolling. You're like, no.
But in some ways, that's not a bad thing.
No, true.
It's not overstaying its welcome.
I agree, because again, if you were to drop, how many episodes are in season 3? Is it another 8, 10, whatever?
Oh, let me Season 3 is 8 episodes.
8 episodes. So let's just say, boom, they dropped all 8 in one dump. You're gonna watch all 8. You know what I mean? You're gonna binge the whole entire thing, and then it's over. So I want this spread out over 8
And
weeks.
then you got that taste in your mouth of, I want more, but it's all done already.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I don't complain about the Disney Plus spreading these episodes out. So it feels like I get more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not going to get. It's like if you're given a cake and you could eat it all at once, or you could eat it over time.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming the cake won't go bad. You could eat it over several days. Well, you would enjoy it more if you get to eat it over several days. If you eat it all at once, you may have enjoyed it. It's not going to be as good towards the end because you're overwhelmed by the amount of the flavor and the texture and everything, and then you're done the next day. Well, I would like some more of that cake, but it's done.
Yeah. Yep. You're gonna have to wait to get more cake.
Yeah.
You have to wait another year to get more cake.
Or longer.
Or longer. Yeah.
Like I said, it's been since 2020, so that's 2 years and 4 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 years and 2.5 months, or something like that.
Yeah. But I think the Boba Fett series played into it, and I think Ahsoka's going to play into it too, which is why we had a little bit of a longer break from one season to another.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that's yet to be determined because we still haven't seen Ahsoka. But I just think all these things are going to tie in, and that's why there was a bigger break from 2 to 3. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I think that there's a lot of big things coming that we could speculate, but we don't fully know about.
Yeah.
So what would you give this as on our scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate this episode?
Well, I'm trying to not let my enthusiasm for it to be back, skew the rating. You know what I mean? But yeah. It was a good episode. I give it an 8.5. I'm not going to give it anything higher than that because it was good. I enjoyed the heck out of it because it hasn't been around for so long. But that's as high as I would go with it. It was a good episode, but there wasn't anything that blew me away to make it anything higher.
I'm going with an 8.
Okay.
So it's a solid episode.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of great moments, good humor, nice drama. Introduce some new characters, reintroduces some old characters. Get to learn where they are at nowadays, and sets up a lot of things to come. But again, I thought the runtime was a little on the short end. I think there's a couple more things we could have fleshed out. Mm-hmm. And it's not. I mean, 8 is a very good grade. It's not. It wasn't like the last episode of season 2, which
right.
is practically perfection.
Yeah, that would be hard to top. Which I think is going to be a problem going forward. No,
but you're still producing really high quality stuff.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And so if you haven't watched the episode yet, pause the show here. Watch the 35 minutes. Come back and continue along with the conversation. If you have watched it, feel free to continue along and join in the conversation on our on the social networks at WD Magicast on most major social sites. So yeah, when that opening scene
mm-hmm.
with the armorer and all the Mandalorians standing in the basically it was almost like a christening
mm-hmm.
or a baptism into the order. Who do you think that was?
To be honest, I thought that was Din Djarin or whatever because I thought it was a flashback. Right. Until he came and and they started battling. But until he came in on the N1 Starfighter, I'm like, oh, it's not him.
I think most people thought that.
Yeah.
And it's also because with the hair and stuff, it looks very similar. And the helmet was almost exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same design helmet, slightly different color paint scheme. And I thought it was interesting that all the kids' helmets were these very plastic, uh, bright colored color schemes. I don't know if that's intentional because they're foundlings, or is it was just how it worked out, or because it's a new helmet, so therefore it looks that way versus
Right.
the helmets that have been around the block and been used and whatnot, so they're more tarnished. Is it symbolism? One could kind of guess in many different ways of what the reasoning is there. But I thought the same way too. I know other people have said that that's kind of what they were thinking too. But that was a really interesting scene.
Yeah, they like their big monsters. It seems like you had
Yeah.
the crate dragon, and then you got
Yeah,
this
the
guy.
Great Dragon. You had the
There was another monster. I forgot the name of the big horn.
with the horn that became his symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have all those. The monsters keep getting bigger.
Mhm.
Well,
But here's
this one was smaller than the Great Dragon, but still just as menacing.
Right.
But I just kept thinking, wait a second. You take this, it's got a shell because you can see it. So you put your detonators on the shell, and yes, going for the underbelly is a little more dangerous.
Right.
But that's going to have a better chance of working. We're trying to throw it in. It's
My thought was if this is your planet, whatever planet it was, because they didn't go into it. I'm assuming they know like the creatures that are on the planet. Why would you hold a ceremony right there in the lake, knowing that you could get chewed up by an alligator turtle thing or whatever it was?
See, and this is why, as awesome as the Star Wars galaxy is, I don't think I would ever want to live there.
No.
Because they got some of the biggest, baddest, weirdest creatures that you're just walking along a street and something's going to eat you.
Something's going to eat you. There's always a bigger fish.
Yes. As we learned in Phantom Menace, there's always a bigger fish. As the wise Qui-Gon Jinn once said, there's always the bigger fish.
But it was a cool entrance, He comes in, he blows him up, lands, and you get a little baby Grogu in the back there waving. He gave him a little. I'm back.
Yeah, and then he has that conversation with the armorer about, is Mandalore habitable? Is it the water still there, and what the condition is? So it's taking up exactly where we left off in Boba Fett.
Right, but I think
you disgraced us. You are a Mandalorian no more, and in their eyes.
Yeah, and I think they went over that part again, because in case you didn't see the Book of Boba Fett and you didn't see those couple episodes, so they just delved into that quickly,
right,
to catch you up,
Yeah, as much as they said it was important to have watched those episodes of Book of Boba Fett, they still did a nice enough job to kind of fill it in and let you know what the key important parts that you may have missed. If you didn't see them, I think you would still be somewhat okay because of what they touched on, at least to this point.
Right.
But I think going forward, you will need to have seen those episodes to understand how did we get to where we are with Grogu and some of what's going to be done with his abilities, and the learning how to use the Darksaber, all that type of stuff.
Which didn't make an appearance in this episode.
No, it was referenced.
Right.
But he didn't get into that part, which is fine. He didn't need to show it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't necessary for this episode. But you kind of forgot, like if it wasn't mentioned, you could potentially forget that the Darksaber is in his possession,
Yeah.
I don't know how far you want to fast forward, but when they went into was it hyperspace or whatever? They brought you saw the space whales.
You saw the outline of the space whales.
Yeah, now that was in like Rebels or something, wasn't it?
That was
the
at
space
the
whales?
end of Rebels.
That's what I
thought. Oh, I'm blanking on his name.
Which one of the Jedis?
No, the kid from Rebels.
Ezra?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up with the space whales.
Yes.
So that
that's
kind
right.
of referencing
Yep.
things to come in Ahsoka potentially.
Mm-hmm.
You had that. You have the space pirates.
Yeah, and when they landed on Navarro. When you heard them talk about the pirates, when the droid comes in and you said, my thoughts went straight to Hondo. I'm like,
I was seriously hoping to see that was going to be Hondo, and it wasn't, and I'm okay that's not. But I would love for Hondo to show up.
Yeah, I think it's a hint though that he is coming. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's going to be in this season, but he's coming. We're gonna see him.
I believe at some point in one of the shows we will see a Hondo.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be Ahsoka because that would actually make a little more sense. Or if there's a Boba Fett season 2 or something. I seriously believe Hondo Ohnaka will show up on Disney Plus, not animated.
Yeah, no, live action.
And, if anything, they could have the animatronic stand in for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that is if you have not seen the animatronic of Hondo Ohnaka at Galaxy's Edge, gotta go see it because it is amazing. It is fantastic.
Yep. I agree. Some people said they've seen too much of Hondo. Not me. I say bring him. I want to see him.
I don't think you could have too much Hondo.
No, I don't think so either.
I like Ahsoka. I don't think you could have too much of those characters.
Yeah.
Like Grogu, you can definitely not have too much Grogu.
Yeah. Exactly. But so when they landed on Navarro, you could see that's when the eye candy started because you had, the droids walking around, you had all the aliens there, you had the tree that had the how do you say Kowakian monkey lizards, the salacious bee crumbs. They were up in the tree there.
Characters. Yeah. I was actually hoping to see someone roasting one of those, just like they have at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
or someone offering him what's the wrap? Ronto wrap. Like a Ronto wrap or something. I was really hoping for like a Galaxy's Edge tie-in there.
Mm-hmm.
But you're getting the Salacious Crumb characters in the tree, which is something similar to Galaxy's Edge. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't take in enough of that scene enough to check out all the Easter eggs because there's a ton in there.
There's a ton, yeah.
And then you get the IG-11 statue.
Yep. Which was cool. Until Mando goes, I want him. We're like, what?
I need him.
And I'm sorry, hey, I love Carl Weathers, and and I'm glad he found a home in the Star Wars universe. But when I see him, I'm sorry, it's Apollo Creed. That's where I go every time I see him.
You expect him in his little fly boxer shorts?
Yeah, exactly. But now, did you see he's got the two little, like when he was walking away, he's got like the two little robots holding up
droids holding the cape for him.
And he has to keep correcting everybody. It's hi, magistrate.
Magistrate. Hi, magistrate. Yeah. That was fun. That was great. That was great. And then the pirates outside the building. We want to go into this bar. It's a school.
Yeah.
It was a bar.
Yeah.
It's a school now.
Yeah, but they took them out easily. And you knew, was it Vane? They let Vane go, and you knew he was going to come back, eventually.
Oh, but, you knew.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised. I was expecting him later on, not so right away.
Right, exactly. And then did you notice, like, so they, you know, he says he wants the IG-11s, you know, to bring them back because that's the only droid he trusted and whatever. So when they laid him out on the table and they're trying to power him up, did you see it was almost like he was trying to jumpstart a car with the wires? He's like, shh, shh.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing?
Hot wiring the thing.
Yeah. And then he just went all psycho, man. The eyes turned red. He wants to kill Grogu.
Well, see, I think there's the problem they should have learned from Terminator. The
Yeah.
keys are always in the visor.
Yeah. But you know so they need a new chip to fix him to the programming that worked when he wasn't trying to kill Grogu.
Yep.
But they're going to have to rebuild his whole entire body because he just has half a torso now.
Even the head's crushed.
Exactly, from the statue. Yeah. So I don't know where they're going or how he's going to fit. Like once they get him, how's he going to fit in the N1 Starfighter? Because that's a small thing.
And this is my problem with the N1 Starfighter is that it doesn't leave room for more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the Razor Crest, there was room to put a small crew. You could fit multiple, more than just 2 characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
This one, essentially, you could fit 3.
Yeah.
So you would have Din Djarin and Grogu in the cockpit, and then you would put IG-11 in the jumper seat,
Mm-hmm.
in the droid spot.
Right.
Which I didn't realize there was a pass through on that.
I didn't either. So I don't know how he got down in there, but apparently there's a little slot for him to scoot down.
Oh, mail slot, he
Yeah.
opens up a door and slides himself down.
Yeah, because I always thought like that dome would open up and that was it. That was the only way in or out of that
That's
place.
what I was
the dome.
expecting.
Yeah.
Either a dome or like a pass through at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nope. Apparently there's a pass through to the cockpit.
Yeah.
Who knew?
And so you had what the Anzalians were in there, those little
From
what movie were they in? I forgot. I know they were one of them, right?
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker, that's right.
They were the ones that reprogrammed C-3PO.
That's right. I knew they made an appearance. I'm like, but I forgot what movie because I'm I'm not the biggest fans of the but they were cute. The back and forth.
That scene was a very welcomed comic relief.
Yes.
Not that this episode was heavy to the point that you needed something, but it was just a fun moment. And I don't know what you're saying. What are you trying to tell me?
Yeah.
And Carl Weathers is translating, and then the character starts speaking better English.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Carl Weathers is still translating, and Djarin's going, I heard. I heard him right. No, I got that. He said that.
There was one time when he didn't say anything, Mando, and he just turns and looks at him. Like, really? Like, you could just imagine if he didn't have the helmet, what the facial expressions looking like.
Right.
I was like, dude, I got this. Stop.
And Grogu keeps trying to pet them. No, they're not pets.
Yeah. I thought he was going to try to eat him. Because I saw
what
him grab him.
too.
And I'm like, don't eat him. But I guess he was just squeezing him. Called him a bad baby. Let go, bad baby. So,
Not a pet.
No, not a pet. So, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that scene. It was a welcome, levity to the situation.
Yes.
So,
it's kind of like we're getting the light moments out of the way now for presumably what's to come, especially when that they're going to end up on Mandalore.
Yes.
So they're going to end up there, and that's going to be heavier stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to front load the levity and the light part to ease into the darker, heavier stuff. And then we get the whole scene with Bo-Katan, and you could tell she's still holding a grudge.
Yeah. She's like, you got the sword, you got the saber, you lead them.
She kind of made me think of Deadpool.
Yeah,
the
way she was hanging on the throne. Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is she out there all by herself? So she's just hanging. Did she?
Yep.
She's just bored, hanging out, doing nothing. No TV, no nothing. I don't know if she's gonna play. Do you have any? Do you think she's gonna play a role in anything here?
Yes.
You think she'll follow Mando to Mandalore just to see
I
what he's
wouldn't be
getting
surprised. I would think so.
into? Yeah.
I would think somehow she ends up on Mandalore as well.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can't figure out, and I don't have a problem because I don't have enough information with this, and I'm fine with that. Is guess what? 2, maybe 3 things. So Ahsoka's timing with everything, is that gonna sync up with this? Like, so we see Bo-Katan here, and then do we not see her again until we see her in Ahsoka? Or do we even see her in Ahsoka? Mm-hmm. Or does she, again, kind of, like I said, go full circle? We see her at the beginning, then we see her close towards the end of this season. Because I'm sure the Mandalore parts don't happen until probably episode 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah, because now he's got to go on adventures to get the new chip and all that. You know, in order to get
the chip.
IG-11.
You introduce the pirates. You know, it's the Chekhov's gun theory. You show the gun in the beginning, and it pays off in the third act.
Well, what did you think of the little space battle that we had in the introduction of what's his name, Gorion Shard, the pirate captain?
Oh, great!
Yeah.
It was. He just, the fact that it was in an asteroid belt, because you need to add that element, because otherwise you're just flying around in open space.
Exactly.
But just the way that he was picking them off.
Yeah, one by one.
It's like, this guy is a trained killer.
Yeah.
He just made it so effortlessly.
Yeah.
He got the one and disappeared, and then showed up and got the next one.
Yeah.
And when the big ship showed up and all these guns are on him, didn't hesitate. He didn't turn and run. He just went straight at him and passed him.
Right at him. I was going to say, he didn't bat an eye. Most people would have been like, uh-oh. He's like, yeah, whatever. See ya. Don't trust a pirate.
Too much.
Yeah, exactly. Never trust a pirate. So, but you can tell, like, they're definitely building. You can tell that the Grogu Mando relationship, you can see that it's growing, it's getting stronger,
The father-son relationship between them, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even Grogu has seen, he's still childlike, but he's got a little more wisdom to him now. He's not as childish in some ways.
Right. But they still show that his childlike, but behaviors, like when they were in Carl Weathers' office, he's spinning in the chair like a kid would do when you would ever have like a rotating chair. So.
But I guess, was it against the pirates or something? He looked like he was ready to use the Force.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so. He's the backup. If something happens, or he's always just like sitting there waiting to see if anything, like if Mando can't handle it, he's gonna step up. Yeah.
Speaking of, did you hear the news out of Walt Disney World?
Apparently not. No. What happened?
As of Wednesday, you can meet Din Djarin and Grogu.
Ooh. At Galaxy's Edge?
At Galaxy's Edge in the Hollywood Studios. It's the in-between section.
For how long, though? How long are those characters going to be there?
Permanent.
Ooh, all right. I'm going to see them in August.
I saw pictures of the first day.
Uh-huh.
Massive
lines.
It was Din Djarin and his 10,000 of his closest friends.
Wow. Oh, people were cosplaying?
No,
No,
it's like, there's just all the people there to see him,
to see him. I'm sure that person enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, it was someone's season.
Yeah.
From sources that I have. So this is something that they worked on for a little while. The one problem is that they only do have the one Grogu animatronic at the moment. So hopefully that holds up. But it's so he's a permanent character. He'll be there all the time. How they're going to work things depends on the crowd levels, how long the crowd levels hold up, and
so they're staying in one section because obviously, if you said Grogu is an animatronic, so he's not moving around the park. Then I'm assuming, right?
No, he's in a saddlebag.
Okay.
So you have the Din Djarin character, and then he's wearing a satchel, and in the saddlebag is Grogu.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
And they can interact with each other and everything.
Oh, that's going to be sharp to see.
Oh, it's
if you can get up close.
Yeah. If you time it right and can get up close.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's just happened and kind of secretly launched it, but some people I guess apparently knew. But either way, really awesome. Pretty cool. So yeah, they finally introduced them. They were trying to figure out how they were going to do that and what the logistics meant, and because time-wise, it doesn't fit the story and this and that, and get over it. So they finally got over it, and this makes sense to them.
When did they start that?
Wednesday. So when the episode dropped.
I was going to say, because it kind of sounded like they did that to correlate with the drop of season 3. Yeah.
Yep.
Smart. Very smart.
Don't miss a trick sometimes.
No. So now, but for this season, I'm wondering, because, all right, season 1, you had the introduction of Din Djarin and Grogu, and it was basically their story, I think, right, in the first season. Second season, they stepped it up big time, where, you still had those two characters, but they brought in Luke, Ahsoka, fantastic editing. So now I'm sitting there going, okay, season 3, how can they step it up from that? I'm not saying it's not going to be as good, but because I'm still going to watch it, I'm still going to be hooked. But I'm wondering how they can make it as engaging as that second season was.
It's a tall order. I'm sure they have ideas. What they are, I have no idea. It's like, do you do something crazy? And this is, again, just pure speculation. Do you do something crazy like bring back Darth Maul? I mean, where's the last place that we saw Darth Maul? No, it wasn't. I was gonna say it was on Mandalore, but no, he
wasn't he in he was in one of the castles on a different planet, I think, though.
Yeah, but there's the connection with Mandalore. You do something like that.
Because Gideon's gone, right? They're not gonna.
And they mentioned him. He's.
Yeah, they said
somewhere.
He went to New Republic War Tribunal. I didn't know what that meant, but that's what they said.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, who those are, but it's like, okay, we're trying to put him in jail.
Yeah,
sure. It's Jar Jar Binks.
Oh no.
Lisa say you're guilty.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
So it's and then of course they also what's her name?
Because basically what I'm trying to say is, like, as appealing as the story, like, it can't just be him going there to become to cure himself of his sins and become a Mandalorian again. Like, that can't just be the main thing. Like, I'm wondering if we're actually going to get some meat and potatoes on Grogu's past, what happened to him and all that, or can we hear him talk, or
I don't think we'll get him talking. We may find out a little more. I'm actually expecting more of Din Djarin's past.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe we'll get some more answers there. They did I was going to say they did recognize Cara Dune's character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she's off with the Rangers.
Right.
Which is I found interesting because that was the premise for her spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
Was going to be the New Republic Rangers, or yeah.
Right.
Sorry, they said she was off with the Special Forces, but the spinoff was for the Rangers, which is basically, kind of the same, by a different name. So, yeah, they didn't close the door on that either.
No.
Yeah, but as a topper, ooh.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Hmm?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know where they're gonna go, with it.
Because that's why we don't write the show.
No, I know that, but you can. True. But when you set the bar so high up at the end of season 2, not that you want it to go there, but you want the show not to get stale. You want it to keep going. So that's why, like you said, the season 4 is already being written, or it's already wrote, whatever. How many seasons of, obviously I'll watch them all, but how many seasons of The Mandalorian do we get before it starts to run its course? Some, like, for example, Cobra Kai. I'll give you a different show. Season 6 is coming out. They're ending it there. I'm disappointed, but I'm happy because it's at that point where I don't think they could have really gone it much further with it. So as sad as it is to see it go, they're doing the right thing. So that's why I'm wondering with Mandalorian, you don't want to ruin the show by just keep pumping it up because it's popular, But I'm still going to watch it.
As long as you keep giving it purpose.
Right.
It's hard to say. Think how many seasons there are of Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm. True.
So there's a lot more episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think this could match that as far as the longevity or the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, that was animated, so it's a whole. It's a little hard to compare. I think they can go a while with this, as long as they keep a good direction, and so far they're doing that. Because if you think back to the first season, you never thought we would have ended up where we are currently.
Right. And it also depends on their end game too, because I think, I don't know if we discussed this, or I think you've heard the same rumors, is that they want to make one big, I don't know if it's a movie or another series where it's just a collab of all the shows, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Mandalorian, together in one big,
Yeah, I heard stuff about that years before season 2 even came out, or in the middle of season 2. It was the middle of season 2, so that this was kind of a plan for a while, that they were going to have this team up episode or episodes of everybody. So yeah, we shall see what comes of that. But I have a feeling that's still where they're leading.
Yeah. And there's something, like, I don't know about how you, like, just seeing, like, when the pirate scene, the way the Mandalorian looks, like, just his armor, it's all clean, shiny. He just looks like he's cool.
Yes.
Just I can't say what I want to say. He just looks like, you don't want to mess with that dude just sitting there.
No, in the way that he stood there, kind of leaning against a tree.
Yeah.
If it was a Western movie,
oh yeah,
he would have had the toothpick in his mouth.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, is there a problem here, Magistrate? Yeah,
exactly.
Pull the toothpick out. So he just, I don't know. Because you see all the different colors of all the Mandalorians. I like his specific colors and the shine of his best, best car or whatever it is. Yeah, it's just, it's a cool character.
Oh, he just looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to the pirates, what I like that they did with the pirates is that they were all animatronic.
They were?
The faces were animatronic.
Right.
It wasn't a CG. I mean, maybe they enhanced it a little bit with CG, but it was a practical effect.
Right.
Which is this relatively the same thing they did with Cal Bane in Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the same type of costuming.
Mm-hmm.
But it just instead of doing a whole CGI figure, I think this just gives it a better feel. I mean, some of the mouths were a little funky when they talked, but that fits Star Wars, because if you go back to the original movies, you had a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because they were still working all this, special effects stuff out.
Yeah, you could tell with Vane, like when Vane was talking, he was sounding a little nasally, and you're like, well, that's because the costume's right over his nose. You can't,
Well, it's not always necessary the person right there and then recording the lines.
Right. True.
The lines are recorded in post.
Mm-hmm.
And dubbed over. But it's it gives it a more realistic feel.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it looks a little hokey, it gives a realistic feel. Like the head pirate is all like grassy and everything. But it still look cool, and I look forward to seeing where we go from here. There's so many directions. We know at some point we're going to end up on Mandalore. We know at some point IG-11's going to show back up.
Mm-hmm.
They already gave us all that stuff.
Yeah, they wouldn't tease that. They wouldn't drop his name, and then he was in the recap at the beginning. He
was the first thing you saw previously on Mandalorian,
right? Exactly. So they wouldn't drop all that and go through all this not to have him back in it.
No, that none of that is by accident.
No. And if I remember correctly, I did love him when he was in it before he blew himself up. So.
he was a fantastic character.
Yeah. So
I was quite upset when he blew himself up.
Yeah.
No, you can't be.
Yeah.
But I guess also depends on how long Taika Waititi's available for.
No, stay away from Star Wars. No.
No, Taika does IG-11.
The voice?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No.
And he also directed a few episodes.
Oh. Okay.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't. So maybe there's hope. I'm sorry.
He's done a few episodes.
Of The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Ugh. So I always thought it was Filoni and Favreau. I know there was a couple different directors and whatnot, but I didn't know he had anything to do with it.
So you've had Rick Furumawa, who did this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard. I remember her doing one. Yeah.
Yeah, she's done 3.
Yep.
You have Dave Filoni, who's done 3. Deborah Chow, who's done 2. Carl Weathers has directed 2.
Oh, wow.
Peyton Reed's done 2. Taika Waititi, he's only done 1. I thought he's done 2.
Does it say which episode?
Redemption.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that one.
Yeah, that's the last episode. It's episode 8 of season 1. Which I think is the last episode of season 1. Favreau's done 1. Robert Rodriguez, Lee Isaac Chung, Rich Morrison, and Peter Ramsey all have done 1. And season 1 is 8 episodes. He did the last episode of season 1.
And it got a 9.2. So, okay. Sorry. You know why I'm a little skeptical on him, so.
You just love to bring his thunder, don't you? Just love to bring your thunder to this.
It's almost like The Last Jedi. I can't let The Last Jedi go, and I can't let Thor: Love and Thunder go.
Come on, you have to admit, The Last Jedi has one of the best lightsaber battles.
Yes, I agree. Yes. But I've gone over. I beat that horse down. I went over that a bunch of times. It's just it didn't hit for me. And hey, if you love it, that's great.
I did say I love it. I love that lightsaber battle.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying the audience. If there's people out there that enjoyed it, good
how
on
many
you.
times have I said every movie is somebody's favorite movie?
Right. Exactly.
As bad as that, most people may think it is, someone's going to say that's their favorite movie.
Yeah. And
even if it's Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Yeah. And I was listening to a different show, and they were saying that down the road, like 10 years down the road, the nostalgia is going to kick in for the sequel trilogy, and the people that grew up with that are going to want to see something based on those, like Rey and Finn and all that. And as they're talking about this, I'm like, nope, I don't want nothing to do with them. I'm good. I'm not going to get nostalgia. I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Because even they were saying, like, they wouldn't mind seeing another movie with them in it, just based on the Finn, Rey, who am I missing? Poe Dameron characters, and then you can make another movie based on them, like down like the kind of what they did with the Skywalker characters, but just do it down the road and bring them back and all that. And I'm like, I have no interest in that. Like we've had this discussion. I would rather just have a movie, a standalone movie in a different time frame, maybe, and whatever. And let's just reboot it with fresh stuff. Keep it Star Wars, but new characters.
Right. I'm sorry, I'm looking something up here. But yeah, it's very possible that eventually we will get that. How come we haven't seen it yet? Because we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. And
well, because like say, like for example, when the prequel trilogy came out, they weren't really that well received. But now with like especially with the Kenobi series, people were going crazy that McGregor and Hayden Christensen were reunited together. They were getting that nostalgia for having them. And I'm like, I can see it, and I enjoyed that nostalgia, but I'm also on record by saying that the prequel trilogy aged well because of the content that we got through the Clone Wars and all this other stuff. So could my opinion change on the sequels if something comes out, that will wrap it up in a nice little bow? Maybe. But that jury's still out because they haven't delved into that yet.
Well, I can tell you exactly where you heard that conversation before.
On here?
Episode 177, ranking the Skywalker Saga, May 25th, 2022. A certain host said the prequel trilogies, the sequel trilogies will eventually, it's this generation's Star Wars, just like the prequels, us old guys who grew up with the original ones, and when the sequels came out, garbage, that's awful. What were they thinking? Yeah. Fast forward 20 years, the kids who that was their first introduction to Star Wars, that was the Star Wars that they grew up with, learned to love it, and now they're the ones in control, and that's why we're getting a lot of this stuff based off of there, because they're the ones with the money.
Right.
More disposable income. And so fast forward 20 years from the prequel trilogy, so the younger kids of now will have grown up and looked, that's their Star Wars, and we'll start seeing some more stuff from there. It's an inevitable cycle. I mean, is it guaranteed? No, but is it highly probable and very possible? Yes.
Yeah.
So we will get there.
Yeah. I could see them more or less doing a series. I don't see them doing another movie based on those characters, but I could see like a series being in development to try to further that storyline of that time period.
I want to say Daisy Ridley has been oddly the way that she's been answering certain questions recently, or certain things that she has said recently, have implied that there's already some sort of toxin stuff going on.
Oh, so there's something coming. So she's being cryptic of her words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that we'll see it next year. Definitely won't see it this year. Definitely won't see it next year. Is this something in 4 years or 5 years? Because these things take time. You know,
Right.
you start whining, dying the idea, then you start spitballing, and then okay, well, if we do this and what we got coming up, and what could this be about? Because some of these things take time. Like, how long have we known about Ahsoka? We found out about that in 2020, and 3 years later.
Yeah, I almost feel like they would have to wait until Favreau and Filoni finish out their storytelling that they're doing now. You know what I mean? Don't intertwine the two. You know what I mean? Just let the Mandalorian ride its course, Ahsoka ride its course, and then come up with the new stuff. If Daisy Ridley is doing something, you know what I mean? Wait the 5 years until we're clear of whatever Favreau and Filoni are trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but that's how I'm thinking.
Well, I mean, you think how these series are, that you have like the Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Boba Fett. That's kind of one group.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have Andor. That's its own separate thing.
Right.
Skeleton Crew is going to be its own separate thing. So I don't see that being a necessity.
Right.
To truly accomplish a good storytelling of it.
Mm-hmm.
So in acolytes and all that. So each one is kind of be its own little separate thing and taking place in its own little time pocket.
That's probably just me wanting to push it off.
You just don't want to see Daisy Ridley and her yellow lightsaber, reforged Skywalker lightsaber that you can buy at Galaxy's Edge for $250.
Talking about I'm a Skywalker. You're not a Skywalker.
She identifies as a Skywalker.
Yes,
She's a Skywalker.
I know. So,
come on. If your last name was Palpatine, would you be going around admitting it?
No, I know. This is true.
My grandfather's the one that going around killing everybody and caused all of this.
Yeah.
And I love him. He was so much fun on the holidays.
Oh my God.
He would make quarters appear behind my ears.
You don't want to know where he got those quarters from now. Oh, Lordy. So, I don't know. All right, so back to Mando. After that episode, I think it's there's high hopes for this season. You know.
Oh, my mental expectations, it keeps going up from here. I mean, I just, as soon as it started, I had a smile on my face, and I had a smile on my face the entire time. I enjoyed every minute of that episode.
You actually just said what I was thinking, because like it popped on, and the eye candy, and just it's well written and everything. It's just you can't help but smile. If this is your cup of tea, you can't help but smile throughout the whole thing, because it's just it's good.
Yeah.
You know.
It was, like I said, welcoming back an old friend.
Yeah. Yeah. And hope they stay a while.
All right. Anything else on Mando that you want to cover? One other thing I was going to bring up.
What's that? No, I think we're good on. I think we covered that pretty well. For a 35-minute episode, I think we did good.
Yeah, we lasted longer than they did.
Yeah.
That there was just recently an announcement, going back to our Cirque du Soleil discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So for Drawn to Life, 3 new acts will be joining the show.
Ah.
So there's going to be an all-new acrobatic act, an aerialist artist, and a flying guitarist.
That should be interesting. See, now I wonder. Okay, there's 2 questions to that. The one that's to the point. Remember, I think I said, like, I wonder. It's going to be a different show. It's going to change over time. You know what I mean? So that's to the point that they're actually doing that. Now, the other point would be, are they changing that because maybe the attention isn't there? Like maybe the reviews aren't as good that they expected, so they're going to try to liven it up a little bit to get more people there.
It's possible. Like, let's see, the flying guitarist, joining the rhythmic gymnastic act, soaring above the acrobats as they flip through the air.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the aerial hoop artist taking to the air, performing tricks during the Dream of Colors act, tribute to the ink and paint animation artists, featuring dramatic colors painted by a human trapeze artist on a suspended wheel. And then the brand new act, the Icarian Games, paying tribute to Disney's animation forests and the mysterious creatures that inhabit them. Featuring a pair of Ethiopian artists performing aerobatic feats in which one lies on their back and uses their legs and feet to toss the other performer into the air.
Wow. And when are these new acts supposed to go live?
Let's see, I'm looking at the article on wdwmagic.com. Talks about limited time special offer for Florida residents who could purchase tickets up to 15% off on select dates.
Yeah, just haven't seen it the last time I was out there. I don't know if even if with the changes, I don't know if I'd want to drop the kind of money to go and watch it again at this close together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It does not mention in this write-up about when they may be starting. Let's see anything on this site.
Well, let me ask you: does that change your opinion of the show? Like, would you go to see it? I'm not saying like if you had a chance to go see it tomorrow, but down the road, let it play, see what the reviews are, see if it's better or worse. And
maybe eventually. Again, it's not one I'm jumping at the bit to get back to.
Yeah.
But given the opportunity, the price is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell, I think that's everything.
Yeah. I think we covered it.
Dave, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Glad we were able to work this out.
Yeah.
Despite all the crazy schedules.
I know. Sorry it had to be a couple days late, but yeah, our schedules have been a little hectic this week. So
that's one way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you again, and we'll be talking soon.
All right, bud. Have a good one.
You too. Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Dave, for joining us in this discussion about the season premiere of Season 3 of Mandalorian. What did you think, folks? Let us know. Join the conversation. Let us know what you think of the continuing episodes. As you know, we do the first episode and we're going to recap the season. whenever it wraps up in several weeks. So, in between, keep the discussion going. Let us know what you think of The Mandalorian, what you think is going to happen. Let's keep the discussions going online on our Facebook page, which is facebookpage.com/WDMagicCast. Our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/WDMagicCast. Yes, the groups is back. Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, we are at all at WDMagicCast. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can check out audio versions of this show as well, plus some other treats I have up there for you to enjoy. You can leave a voice message through the Anchor app or Anchor.fm website. Be heard on the show yourself. Give us your opinions. Let us know what's going on. Or if you don't want to do it that way, you can record it electronically on your iPad, your tablet, your phone, your smartphone, your computer, whatever you got, and email it to email@wdmagiccast.com. Also, any suggestions, questions you may have, send it that way as well. Links to all these are in the show notes and also at our website, which I advise you, please check it out, www.wdmagiccast.com. I want to thank you for your time. I know how little time we all have, how crazy life is. Heck, that's why we missed an episode last week. My schedule just got really hectic last week with some stuff going on, and but we're back, and really appreciate the time that we get to spend together. Thank you so much. Please go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating or review on there. This way more people find out about the show. Spotify as well. We have all 5-star reviews on all of those. Truly, we are blessed over here. Thank you so much. Keep it coming, though. We need more. We absolutely need more to truly help this show out. To really keep things going over here. Tell other people too. If you don't want to do that, tell people. Share a link out on your social network. Tag us on it too, so we can thank you personally. But yeah, leave share out the link, share out the episodes, let people know, help people find out the show. The more people over here at WD Magiccast, the better. Walt believed in a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes arrive. And while you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber. Truly help the show and keep the lights on. Keep the reviews and everything that you like about WD Magiccast coming. You can do this over at anchor.fm/WDMagicCast/support. Or also check out our merchandise shop too. This way you get yourself something cool and you help the show out as well. A lot of cool designs and shirts that we got there. Shirts, mugs. It's not just shirts. I apologize. It's not just shirts. It's not just sweatshirts. But we got coffee mugs, travel mugs, pillows, stickers, onesies for babies. We got lots and lots of interesting fun stuff. It's through our TeePublic store. Links to that's in the show notes and on the website as well. Because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. In Japan, broken objects are often repaired with gold. The flaws are seen as a unique piece of the object's history, which adds to its beauty. Consider this the next time you feel broken. And I'd like to end this week's show with a quote, of course, from Walt Disney himself. I function better when things are going badly than when they are as smooth as whipped cream. It's from Walt Disney himself. Thank you again for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.